Good morning. This is Gina Knight at Remax Finest, and I'm hosting once again another episode of the Flavor of Crossville. And as you know, we're bringing different people from Crossville, both transplants and locals, and meeting them and finding out what they do. And today we're hosting Miss Valorie Whitson, and she has a much needed service, Excell Property Maintenance. And so, a lot of things about Crossville as they grow, there's services that, you've seen in other places, but have been very hard to find here. And I think property maintenance is definitely one of them. So tell me a little bit about yourself. Are you from here or a transplant?
I'm originally from Crossville. I was born here. And then I moved to Texas when I was 7 years old, came back to Crossville at 15 and left again at 19. So I just recently came back 7 years ago. So my family is from here, but I've been all over.
So they always say that you always come back to the mountain. And I find that to be very true.
That's right.
It's a beautiful place. So what made you decide to start a property maintenance company?
I've always had construction in my background from my family and my ex-husband. It was a general contractor, and we did building and remodeling and all kinds of things in Nashville for over 20 years. So when I came back home in 2014, I had enough knowledge from flipping houses in Nashville, from just construction on the whole, to come here and do it on what I call a smaller scale, more home maintenance.
Okay. So what are some of the things that you guys offer as far as maintenance?
We actually can do a total remodel on flip homes, because I also do that.
Okay.
It's where we can take a home and we get it from the top to the bottom and restore it, make it look brand new. We can do it to that extreme, or we can do simple things like exterior painting, interior painting, drywall repair, flooring, really anything, plumbing, things that.
So it's more like a handyman kind of situation. And with really all the elderly people that we have here being a retirement community, I know that's needed because they can't do it. And and there's everybody's so short staffed. So is this a family thing, or do you have a big staff?
Okay. It's a family thing, and then we have a few employees that help as needed, but it's mainly my family, and it's my dad and my son and myself and my daughter, my husband, and then we have a few more helpers that do help as needed. And
so tell me about your children.
My children, I've got 3 children. I have a 21-year-old that also has his license in carpentry, so he helps a lot. I've got a 19-year-old. She is more of my design team. She helps me design the remodels, or if somebody wants paint in their home, she helps come in with the color swatches and helps them do that. And then I've got a 4-year-old. And he's the boss. So he's the one that does it all.
There's a lot of us that have those late surprises. Yeah. and they end up being the boss because we're just too darn tired to fight with him.
Yeah, we just don't fight with him. He's the boss. So, but that's my family. And I've been back in Crossville for 7 years. And we do anything from apartment complexes. We also do those, the big pressure washing jobs, doing their painting, their flooring, their cleanups, anything that so we do that on the commercial level as well. We just finished a home for Hilltoppers. They had over 12,000 square foot that we just finished for them, did a total paint job on them. And then we're supposed to be doing more projects for them as well. So it's just a referral thing. A lot of times, you do good work and people will refer you.
Right.
And we're very reasonably priced compared to a lot of people as well. And we've got our general liability insurance, so we can compete with the big people.
That's excellent. And a lot of elders, they worry about that. They come from other places where, that's like required. And here, a lot of people are like, what's that? But, things happen. And so that's great. And so
we carry a $2 million policy. So
wow.
So we are covered. So it protects the homeowner and protects us. And it's just a good thing. It puts them at ease that we carry all that. Because like you said, a lot of people don't.
So you do flips for other people as well as yourself.
Correct.
So, okay. Yeah. And then what about so I'll give you an example. I've got a crazy cat house that is an estate situation. So do you do those too? Clean them up?
Oh yeah, we do it all. So yeah, we could figure
So-
out how to take care of that, whether it's tearing up the floors, or we also have different I forgot what they're called off the top of my head, that we can, it's kind of like a fragrance bomb that helps take care of those odors. We have
Okay.
things like that too.
So I know that you have a background in real estate, but so as you know, we can't really rip up the floors because then it won't qualify for loans. So we just got to clean the best we can to make it marketable, kind of. And then they can rip up the floors after they get the loan for it. So it's kind of like that situation. So, oops, sorry.
You're okay.
I apologize. I thought I had my do not disturb button on there. So anyway, so is there a job that's too small or too big or?
Because my dad is semi-retired, or he says that, even though he works every day. And he just did a job in Fairfield. There was like a gutter or something that fell off, and it set the guy's alarm off. So he called my dad because he was in California. My dad went over there and fixed it. So no jobs too small, and really no jobs too big either. I would like to look at anything, at least be a competitive bidder.
So it sounds like, you're very service oriented and focused on helping the client. Whitson is a long-standing name here in Crossville. I know that. And so, that gives you a benefit of having contacts and knowing, people that can do things. And I know there's a lot of agents out there that, some of them just list it and they don't care. But I know there's other agents out there like myself who, go out there and, if they need to do pressure washing, or if they need to do something to make the property more marketable, to bring in that extra dollar, that's something that you could do for them, right?
Yes.
Pressure washing.
Well, like I said, and we're usually very competitive in our prices. I mean, I just bid the way I bid because it's a family business. I don't have a huge overhead, and except my insurance and stuff. And so it just seems like we get a lot of the jobs because we end up being very competitive. And I'm just going to stay that way because I can. There's no
so
point
what
in
do you see?
Have to.
What do you see for the future? Do you see, do you ever see a problem where you may be like short-staffed or?
Sometimes, and if I'm taking on a bigger project, I make sure I have everybody staffed before I even bid the job, that I'll be like, hey, if we get this, we're going to start it in 2 weeks. Are you on board? I make sure to cover those bases, or I'll just be honest and say we can't, or it's going to take us a little longer.
Right.
And never really ran into that problem. Usually we stay on time. So if it's something we can't do, I'll just say we can't do it. But a lot of times I can recruit enough people to help get it done. Like we just did an apartment complex in Cookville, and I recruited enough people. We got it done in 1 day.
Excellent.
Like seriously, I had 3 pressure washers going at once, but I made a few calls and it was family, but hey, they helped me out and I pay well. So we got that done for them, and they were very happy before the season got too cold. So
right. Yeah, because we're against the clock right now, the winter clock. So that's a good point. So what areas were you guys work in? I know you're in Crossville, and now you mentioned Cookville.
I think we would feel comfortable. We're definitely in Cumberland County, but I feel that we're comfortable going to Roane County, Putnam County, just the local surrounding counties that aren't very far.
Pikeville?
Just because we're a little smaller. Yeah, Pikeville's probably okay too. That's not too far.
Okay. And maybe like Lower Fentress.
Yeah, like Clark Range, Jamestown. Yeah.
Okay. So is there anything that you would like our audience to know about your company or your family?
I don't really know. We have a good reputation. I guess that's a good thing to say. And my family has been, my maiden name is Neal, Neal. So a lot of people know my maiden name. My grandparents, they had dairy farms here for years. So I am rooted in Crossville. Between my married name and my maiden name, I feel have a good family name, and with trust and a good reputation. So I'd love to.
I see that you guys travel a lot because we missed you for Halloween.
Yes.
I think that traveling outside of Crossville, even though you're from here, gives you, a broader experience of how, different people, and how do you think that helps you?
Traveled a lot. We used to do a lot of things in South Carolina, North Carolina. Of course, Nashville was my base for over 20 years. you learn the cultures, you learn that people are different and expectations. So I've come here with an expectation of excellence. So we do it right the first time. So we don't have to come back and fix it. And I think you've probably ran into that before. We have just a really strong work ethic. And I think that came from stepping outside of my home and being in competition with other, other forms of contractors, and seeing their excellence and what was expected, especially when I lived in the Nashville area, because it's a dime a dozen. So you got to stand out and you've got to do the work good to continue. So I learned that when I lived there, and I've come home with that integrity. And if I say I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. If I say I'm going to show up on a certain day, I'm going to show up, and that's how we do it. And we've never had any issues. We have repeat business and referrals, and that's what it's all about.
I know for many years, my husband and I own Night Roofing. And if I had a dime for every person that said I've called a dozen roofers and nobody answers the phone or shows up, I wouldn't have to do roofing because I'd have been rich from that. So that is something that, is highly desired in this area and not greatly offered. And I think going outside and even learning, like how other contractors do things, it gives you some new ideas to bring home here to make it better. And I agree that you do that. So if somebody needs some property maintenance, so basically, so you service people that are like part-time residents, take care of their properties while they're out of town, that kind of thing, right?
We can do that as
well. Okay. So if they're out of town, or if they need any kind of maintenance or handyman stuff or an improvement, how do they reach you, Valorie?
Well, I can give you my phone number.
Go ahead.
My number is 615-812-3161. And that's my cell phone. I've had it for 20 something years. It was a Nashville number. You can also see my page on Facebook. It's called Posh Properties / Excell Property Maintenance to see our work. We've got a page on there, and you can text or call anytime. You know how we are, Gina.
Yes, I do.
All the time. But
we live with our cell phones.
That's right. I used to do work for a Notion. It was they're a HUD contractor that does they upkeep the homes, and that's what got us understanding, winterizations and things like that. So just have a lot of different, we maintain like what they call the HUD homes at the time.
Right.
So,
and that's a great point, because, there's a lot of people don't know how or who to go to to have their house winterized. And so that's a great service that you guys offer. And it's definitely needed because we freeze here, and a lot of people don't realize that. And our winters are not as cold as they used to be, but they still get cold. And so if you're not going to be there, you need to make sure your homes are winterized. Otherwise you'll have a big headache when you come home. That's
right. So, just reach out to me and we'll see how we can handle it. And a lot of times, if for some reason our crew doesn't do it, I know somebody that does.
Excellent.
And I'll gladly refer that out. So
fantastic. Valorie, thank you so much for your time, for coming out and sharing the services that you offer to Crossville. I know that you do a fabulous job, and I'm excited to have the opportunity to work with you. And I look forward to some future situations that we'll be working together. And I hope you have a fabulous day.
You too. And thanks for having me today.
My pleasure, Valorie. Bye.
Have a good one.